For quiz 2 for Math 95, we're asked to add or subtract, I guess it's add in both of these cases, the following rational expressions. Make sure to simplify your answer. Okay. Same instructions you had on the last quiz. The difference here is on the last quiz I gave you a common denominator. This time I do not. So our goal on this quiz will be to rewrite these rational expressions so that they have a common denominator. In order to find the least common denominator, we'll want to factor the denominators for each of these rational expressions. Nothing you can do with x plus 3, but for 2x plus 6, you might notice that it's got a greatest common factor of 2. You can pull out a 2 from both of these terms. A couple different ways you could do this. It turns out you could simplify this. You can cancel out the 12 and the 2. But that's not the way I showed you how to do it, so I'm going to do it a different way. I'm going to say the least common denominator would be 2 times x plus 3, because this has an x plus 3 and this has an x plus 3. This has a 2, this one just needs a 2. So what I'm saying is let's take this thing on the left and let's multiply that. I'm going to do this in another step. Let's multiply the thing on the left by 2 over 2. That'll give me 2 times 2x divided by 2 times x plus 3 plus 12 over 2 times x plus 3. Why do we do that? Because now we have a common denominator. So now I can say 2 times 2x, in other words 4x, plus 12. I can put the numerators together because I have the exact same denominator, 2 times x plus 3. Done? Well, kind of. I mean, this is right, it's just not the most simplified version of the right answer. Because we've got to factor the top and see if maybe we can cancel out more stuff. 4x plus 12. Turns out there's a greatest common factor there. 4 goes into 4x and 4 goes into 12. I can pull out a 4, and what I'd have left would be x plus 3. X plus 3 on the top, x plus 3 on the bottom. I can cancel those out. I get 4 halves. In other words, I get 2. This whole thing just simplifies to the number 2. How about that? How about this one? Kind of the same idea. You look at it, it's hard to tell what the least common denominator is. But if we factor, see, I get 3 over 2x squared plus 3x, greatest common factor, they both have an x in them. Pull out that x and you're left with 2x plus 3. What about 4x plus 6? They don't both have an x in them, but they both do have a 2 in them. So I can factor out that 2, and I'd be left with 2x plus 3. So then I'm trying to figure out what my least common denominator is. Well, I'll definitely need a 2x plus 3. They both have that guy. They'll need a 2 for this guy and an x for this guy. In other words, I'm going to copy that exact same thing I just wrote. But in order to make them have the same denominator, I'm going to multiply this fraction over here by 2 over 2. And I'm going to multiply this fraction over here by x over x. Note that doing so gives me a common denominator. The denominator both here and here is 2 times x times 2x plus 3. What about the numerators? Over here I have the number 6, and over here I have 4x. This is the answer. You put them together. However, we should see if we can simplify it. 6 plus 4x. Greatest common factor. Looks like 2 goes into both of those. I got 3 plus 2x. On the bottom, I got 2x times 2x plus 3. You might notice that you have a 2 on the top and the bottom and try to cancel those out. You can, that works. These, they look really similar. In fact, they are the exact same. 3 plus 2x is the same as 2x plus 3. Just like 5 plus 7 is the same as 7 plus 5. Addition is commutative. This is the same as this. I can cancel these 2 out. 2 is the same as 2. I can cancel those out. And I get 1 over x is my final answer. Maybe I'll illustrate that canceling out idea. This and this cancel out. This and this cancel out. Same idea up here. This and that canceled out. Anyways, 1 over x is my answer. Oh, the complex rational expressions. All right. We want to simplify this jumbled mess here. The way we'll do that is we'll simplify the top, we'll simplify the bottom, we'll put them together, figure out what we got. So the top, I got negative 1 over x plus 3 plus 2 over x minus 3. I need the least common denominator. Well, I'll need x plus 3 times x minus 3. In order to get x plus 3 times x minus 3, I have to multiply this side by x minus 3 over x minus 3, and this side by x plus 3 over x plus 3. Why did I do that? Because now I have a common denominator. Right over here I got this negative 1 times x minus 3 thing. And over here I got 2 times x plus 3. But in both of the denominators I have the same thing. X plus 3 times x minus 3. Get here. This is the top. Guess I can go a little bit further. I get rid of these parentheses by taking this negative 1 and distributing it through. That gives me negative x plus 3. And if I take this 2 and distribute it through, I'll get 2x plus 6. Get to here. Combine like terms, 2x minus 1x just leaves me with 1x. 6 and 3 leaves me with 9. So I got x plus 9 up in the numerator. And then down in the denominator, I got this mess, x plus 3 times x minus 3. All right, here's the top. Do that again for the bottom. Where? I don't know. Over here, I guess. For the bottom, let's see. Think about this 1 as 1 divided by 1. All right, how does that help? Well, if I have two fractions, I can put them together if I have a common denominator. The least common denominator would be x squared minus 9. So what I'm saying is, instead of 1 over 1, I can multiply the top and bottom by x squared minus 9 and get x squared minus 9 over x squared minus 9 minus 8x over x squared minus 9. And now that I have a common denominator, I can just subtract the numerator. X squared minus 8x minus 9 divided by x squared minus 9. We should try to factor this just to see if it simplifies it all. On the top I have a quadratic trinomial whose leading coefficient is a 1. So it's going to factor, it's going to look like this. Two numbers that multiply to negative 9 add to negative 8. Negative 9 and positive 1 will do it. Down here I have a difference of squares, so it factors to x plus 3 times x minus 3. I get to here. So now I can put everything together. The top is x plus 9 All right, now I'm going to simplify the bottom here. Actually, the bottom that I want you guys to simplify, there'll be a plus sign here instead of a minus sign here. So I'll have to change that on your guys' quiz, but that'll make the answers work out nicer. So anyways, the bottom, instead of 1 plus this thing, if you think about it as fractions, you got 1 over 1 plus 8x over x squared minus 9. And the advantage of thinking about like this is, oh, I know how to add together fractions. If they don't have the same denominator, I have to give them the same denominator. So I'll have to multiply this side by x squared minus 9 over x squared minus 9 and get, instead of 1 over 1, x squared minus 9 over x squared minus 9 plus 8x over x squared minus 9. I now have the same denominator, so I can add the numerators, get x squared plus 8x minus 9 divided by x squared minus 9. And yeah, I guess I should try to factor out the top and the bottom just to see if this thing simplifies. On the bottom is a difference of squares. It's x plus 3 times x minus 3. The top is a quadratic trinomial. So if it's going to factor to look like this because its leading coefficient is 1. What I would have to find are two numbers that multiply to negative 9 and add to positive 8. Let's see, positive 9 and negative 1 will work. So the top factor is like this. And what I can now do is put these guys together. The top ended up being x plus 9 divided by x plus 3. I'm going to run out of room. Let's try that again. The top was x plus 9 divided by x plus 3 times x minus 3. The bottom, over here I got x plus 9, x minus 1, and then x plus 3, x minus 3. Okay, I'm dividing these horribly nasty fractions. There's a way to divide fractions. It's kind of like multiplying fractions, but you multiply by the reciprocal. What I'm trying to say is take the thing on the bottom, flip it upside down. So the thing on top was x plus 9 over x plus 3, x minus 3. Instead of dividing, I'm going to multiply by, instead of this thing upside down. X plus 3, x minus 3, x plus 9, x minus 1. And now what you'll see happen is kind of the gratifying part. I got an x plus 9 on the top and an x plus 9 on the bottom. I got an x plus 3 on the top and an x plus 3 on the bottom. I got an x minus 3 on the top, x minus 3 on the bottom. Left with just a 1 up top and an x minus 1 on the bottom. I'm going to erase all those crossouts because I think it might make the answers harder to look at. What I get from my final answer is 1 over x minus 1. And that's that. That's the end of this quiz.